tune in. Every Monday and Wednesday, we are live from 9 p.m. And of course, the repeats are the following days at 1:30. My name, as always, is Eugene Anangwe. Tonight, we're talking Made in Rwanda. But of course, the question is, Made in Rwanda for who? And of course, how do we elevate and of course ensure that those that are producing locally made products get to sell them beyond the Rwandan market? This with just a few days to the Made in Rwanda Expo. And of course, these are the things that we'll be looking at. Of course, that Expo and its impact on promoting locally made manufacturers. Right here on Debate 411, we have none other than the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Trade and Commerce. Thank you so much, Bwana Emmanuel, for joining us. Thank you for joining us on Debate 411. Also is Maggie Mutesi. We all know her from Business Digest. Thank you for joining us on Debate 411. And of course with us is Sonia Mugabo, fashion designer. Thank you for joining us on Debate 411.
Thank you for having me.
And the chairman of the Private Sector Federation, Bwana Benjamin Gasamajera. Thank you for joining us on Debate 411. Right, so the perception has always been that, local is not really quality. And this is what many, manufacturers, creators of locally made products are fighting to deal with. So it's important to hear from Sonia, how exactly do you look at that particular perception and how do we deal with that particular perception? That, it's local, it's locally made here, I would rather just buy something that is outside because it's more unique and it looks more regional than what you have made.
I think it's our duty as the producers to change that perspective, because we have the resources to do the quality and the same international level. Like we can have the same quality at an international level. Yeah. So I guess we have to change that mindset. Yeah. And with expos that are happening, the Made in Rwanda Expo, this is our turn to show that we indeed can make good, great products.
So we here is who and who?
Oh, I'm a producer.
Yeah.
So I'm a designer.
Yeah.
So for me, I will showcase that I can make ready-to-wear clothes that are of the highest standard that Rwandans can afford. And
yeah. So that is that is what you think is your role. My friend PS, do you ever feel the same, like when you go to buy something, of course without being diplomatic here and just wanting to make Sonia's and the others happy, do you ever feel the same, that local, there's something that just turns me off from just going and buying it or taking it? Do you ever feel that?
Well, thank you, Anangwe. But as you said, it's a perception.
Yeah.
But again, sometimes perception, sometimes can be equated to reality. And it can be an active composition of reality. What we see is the products vary. You find some products are top-notch, others are still, halfway, and they need to do a little more. But then what is interesting and what is important to note is you see there's a lot of willingness on the part of the producers to improve their quality and to be able to compete both in the domestic market but also in the regional and global markets.
Right. So I'm still waiting for my answer. Do you ever feel turned off from locally made materials and just say, no, this one, I can't?
Unless we become specific on some examples.
Right. So do you have any that you look at and you say, this is the key mistake or some of the key mistakes that our local producers make that make people not to buy their locally made materials or stuff?
Let me give you some examples. When you look at, the processed foods, okay, maybe you look at the foods and beverages sector. I can say with no doubt that we actually beat the region in quality. And some of our products have been able to get upper shelf space in the regional stores because of quality. So there you cannot say our products do not meet any quality. When you go to the wood sector, the products are good, very durable, but they still lack the finesse, the fine touch that has to come with technology and expertise that grows with time. So really, you cannot say across the board that products are not of good quality, that they turn you off, okay? It depends on the taste, of course, of a consumer. But personally, I see quite a range of products that really meet my taste,
and you've been able to buy them.
And I've been able to buy local.
Right, Maggie, just to give an answer, because PS here has focused on the good, the side that we are good at, the food and beverages, the wood. Just leave aside the part of the final touches and the finishing. But for you, as a business journalist or a producer of a business show, when you walk around, when you go and you want to go and buy some of these made in Rwanda products, what are the things that you look at and you say, this here, Sonia missed out on this, or producer of a made in Rwanda product X failed to meet this particular standard, and I think this is what is making them fail?
I think there are several factors to look at. I would love so much to consume products made in Rwanda, so very much. But we need to see how do we compete on a global market, because it's a global economy. You can't tell me to consume a made in Rwanda product when they can't package it well compared to a product coming from Kenya. So there are a couple of things we need to look at. I am very concerned when it comes to packaging, when it comes to beautifying our products, when it comes to, I think producers are so comfortable, they feel the market can settle for anything. We have a big role to play, because apart from the beverages, we cannot actually compete. Honestly speaking, when you look at how companies in the region package their products, completely different from how we package our products. And you cannot tell me quality when, before I even test the quality, the product looks really ugly. There are certain things to first take a look at before we even think of quality. Because for me to capture my attention to really consume the product, it has to look beautiful. Sonia's blouses have to look beautiful before I even touch the material. So there are certain things that we are compromising on, which should come first.
Right. And so we feel we can get away with
we feel we can get away with it, and it's costing us a lot because we fail to compete on the international market, in the region actually.
Right. Chairman, I've had a lot this issue of packaging. Every time we talk about locally made products, like made in Rwanda items, when it comes to supermarkets, they say, the packaging is a problem, and that is why they don't make it to the shelves. I mean, so what have we been doing all this time, and we still hear about this particular issue, in terms of advocacy, creating awareness to these made in Rwanda producers?
Sure. I think the issue of packaging has been there for so long.
Exactly, yes.
And I think you can take it in two ways. There's one part which goes with the policy, the packaging, the plastic packaging, with the standards of the country. And I think we've together with the Ministry of Trade, RDB, and RSB, even the REMA, I think we are trying. We are always working on it, trying to find a solution which can suit all the stakeholders and not undermine the policies. But the good policy, by the way, for the environment, on which also we are getting a lot of credit, but I think we need to balance now, because if you are going to production, you can't manufacture without packaging, without thinking of packaging possible.
So is this policy working against manufacturers in terms of packaging?
I think it's a process. It's something everybody is aware, I think. We have been advocating, not only us, but all the stakeholders I mentioned. And I think, I hope that, I always believe that we are nearly there, because the more we go into production, the more the emphasis rises, and I think the deciders also, the more they get aware that there's something to give up on the policy to gain on the massive production. That's number one. On the second, I think production is a culture, and it's a process. I like to call it that it's a value chain.
Yes.
And when you see our business environment was mainly till recently was mainly influenced by trade. And trade, you get a bond command, you go, you buy things from, you purchase your things from Uganda, Kenya, Dubai, China. But now, together with, again, other stakeholders, we are starting to see that these can't go on. And now we are investing in production. But we are still, I believe that we are still at the starting stage.
So it's still a journey.
So what does start? Is it the packaging which starts before the production of the products?
Yeah.
I think you first produce the products, then you face the problem of the packaging, then you build the channel, the packaging channel.
Yeah.
Because the packaging is also, it's an industry in itself, which is very sophisticated. I give you an example. Recently we were in the Senate talking about the same issue, about the trade deficit, how we can, what private sector is doing. And one businesswoman gave us an example which really made us, all of us, think about the importance of this packaging, that they went to Dubai, they got a very good market, but they couldn't get enough boxes, carton boxes, to package the goods. So we don't have also enough production, specialized production of packaging. So we need to build that.
So this conversation, this issue of packaging will still be there. It's a question that it's going to be there for a longer time.
Not very long time.
Yeah.
Not very long time. I don't think that it's, in the process, when you start to ask the right questions,
right,
I think the right answers
will start coming
are on the door.
Right.
And I think now people, before investing in packaging industry, you were losing because you had no local production. What were you going to package? If you produce per day only 1,000 carton boxes, you are losing. I mean, because your machine has a capacity of millions of carton boxes.
Yet there are
so
no
you need to have
products
the chain.
them.
Yeah.
Right.
Now you start to get the products to package. So I think now the right questions are being questioned, and we are ready. I see now that the right answers are knocking on our door.
Right. I'm only hoping that the questions will not be more than the answers that we will get on this particular issue. Before you come in, Bona PS, we will come back on that issue of packaging, but it's an important question I'd love to ask Sonia, because looking at all of us, like the three of us, only apart from you, you're the only one. I don't know where this was made from, like even my suit and the suit of the chairman. The fact that when you look at 5, like you have only 1 out of 5 that is wearing Made in Rwanda. How does that make you feel as a Made in Rwanda producer?
It's, of course, I'm not happy about it, but it's also a challenge.
Yeah.
And I feel like, for example, the fashion industry is an emerging market in Rwanda. And it's an exciting time because us as designers or as innovators, we need to change that mindset. We need to create, actually, I wanted to note on the packaging part, there's a company, Dio Chips. Has any of you eaten them?
Yeah.
The packaging is great, and they're made in Rwanda. So I think we can't say all the packaging is, not any company in Rwanda does great packaging, because Dio Chips, like they taste good, they look good, they compete with Doritos or Lay's. So for me, I think we have to invest more in the packaging. Personally, when someone comes to purchase something of mine, Maggie maybe can attest, I have a Sonia Mugawo bag, so that to create that brand, So if someone buys something from me, they'll always have that bag to remind them, okay, I bought this from Sonia. My clothes there's the label, it says Sonia Mugawo. So it's all about, it's branding. And I feel like maybe as local producers, we need to educate ourselves more about the importance of branding, because packaging comes with branding. So it's all about educating ourselves, because I don't think our products necessarily taste bad, for example. Another example, Sina Gerard, he's a very successful entrepreneur. And he has created a market within Rwanda and without Rwanda. I feel like all the time when diaspora come, they always take a kalanga or the sombe. So I think it's a way of, and he's done great branding. So it's up to us to set the standard, to create that awareness that, like, I don't have enough people wearing Sonia Mugawo, but hopefully in 5 years I can say I dress half of Rwanda.
Anang.
Push yourself. Let's first bring in the PS because he had wanted to actually
Yes.
mention something.
Yes, I don't want us to narrow down the whole issue of
Package,
quality
yes.
and you know, the perceptions that you talked before to packaging,
Right.
because quality is a function of many things. Yeah. First of all, you need to understand the needs of your customer.
Yeah.
To put yourself in the shoes of your customer and understand the tastes of the different customers that you serve. Then there are so many inputs that go into a given product. Okay. The ingredients that make that product should also be those that adhere to the standards to make it really a standard product.
Yes.
Yes.
Even when you talk about something like a blouse also has standards that it has to adhere to.
Yes.
Yeah?
Absolutely.
And then there's also the element of skills. Who is it that is doing this?
Exactly.
That is the quality of your staff, the people who are making the product. Okay. Now, of course, packaging comes on because you know you have to you have to position your product right. You have to give it the right look and feel
And branding.
that is going to
You know,
attract customers.
Yes.
But again, if you look at some of the slogans used by these packaging industries, for example, Tetra Pak.
Yeah.
Tetra Pak will tell you that they package what is already good. So don't be attracted by the pack itself, you know, because the pack can be good, but the product is bad, and then you've actually deceived yourself by the looks of the packaging. So a lot is being done to make sure that we have a robust packaging industry. And it's not just about plastic packaging. We're talking of carton boxes. We're talking of bottle packaging. We're talking of, Tetra Paks. We're talking of non-woven bags. We're talking of paper bags. So there's a lot when you talk about the range of packaging materials. In my view, all these are opportunities for business because different products need different packaging materials. Yeah.
And so we need to tap into those
And
opportunities.
we need to tap into those
I think
opportunities.
PS and chairman are actually consoling our producers because there is absolutely no excuse for a product for someone to come out and start a business and you have bread packaged in a different way. When we talk about packaging, like Sonia said, it's not how you put the goods in the box. It comes with branding. You are selling juice, just to give an example, if it looks like you're selling a local herb, that is also packaging. That looks weird. So it won't really cut me through across for me to get excited about it and go for it.
So what did the PS and the chairman get wrong on this?
I
issue?
think what chairman got wrong is saying that we still have some time to go. The time is now.
Yeah.
Like there is no, absolutely, not even how many years to come for us to start to do this. The time is always now. And if the producers cannot understand that you either have good products packaged well or get out of the market, then we are going to keep giving them excuses to give us raw and badly packaged products.
And what did the PS get wrong?
The PS concurred with his point.
So they both. Right. So, Chairman, do you agree with that accusation or that claim that actually we are buying time? We are just consoling this
we need to
made in Rwanda producers,
immediately.
telling them, we still have a long way to go.
I will say yes and no because I can understand her enthusiasm, but there are realities on the ground. You know, there are realities of investment, and you have to recover your investment.
Absolutely.
I totally agree with you, but not even the time is now. The time has been there even
Yesterday.
before, because they have been production.
They
have been production, but is the production enough to have a robust industry, packaging industry?
Yeah.
Because if you invest in, and then you spend 10 years making 10% of your turnover, of your capacity, running on 10% of your capacity, you see what will happen.
Right.
I think it's the reality sometimes dictates us. But I totally agree with you.
Right.
The time is right now, even the time has been there before.
Yeah.
So we need to be practical.
Yeah.
We need to be practical and go with, with the production we have, because packaging is very important.
Right.
Packaging is very important because this is the thing. Even if you have the best products inside, but you get the wrong, you package it wrongly.
It won't get
It looks
sold.
like, because it looks like, I mean, it's not attractive.
Yeah.
So
It
it
everything.
has to be attractive. So we have to build that capacity and to invest into that.
Can we prefect these producers and we say, we have standards, like we say, if it is like this, we would allow it in the market. Will this help us? I mean, PS, would we come up with such a policy? Would this be helpful?
Well, standards are there
Yeah.
already.
But she says we can still find juice looking like herbs
Now,
in a bottle.
We,
Like
we
it
can
looks like
we can still find bread.
Yeah.
Not at the same level. Someone has actually put the bread where it's supposed to be,
Yeah.
but this is this way and this is this way, and it's on the shelf.
Can we
Yes.
have a way of
Yes.
weeding out such?
yes. Actually, do you know what weeds out that?
Mhm.
It's the market itself.
So we let market control it.
So the standards are there.
Yeah.
And we've got institutions
Yeah.
that have been set up to support local producers
Yeah.
to meet those standards.
Yeah.
The Rwanda Standards Board does just that. Okay? Now, if a product is substandard and it's on the market,
Yeah.
Even before the regulator catches it and weeds it out, the market weeds it out itself.
No one will be buying it.
No one will be buying it, and before it's out of business.
Super.
So this is happening,
Yeah.
and we see the selection by customers happening,
Yeah.
but we don't want to encourage that.
Yeah.
We actually want to make sure that all our producers are able to meet the quality requirements of customers. They are able to meet the quantities that are required, and most importantly, they are able to actually meet the consistency.
So this is what we want.
The consistency.
This is what you want as a ministry.
Sure, sure.
And is it what is on the ground?
It's different.
It's different.
Different,
But we'll
right?
talk about that when we come back. Hold that thought, Maggie, and of course all of us. When we return, we'll be moving the conversation forward. But let me just read some of the tweets that have been coming through. I have one from Ephraim Rwamwenje, which says, with a small manufacturing base, it makes no business case for investors. The producers need to factor in as a business unit. I think is responding to one of the statements that was made right here. There is actually Patrick who says, any views on the leather products recently adopted policy? You'll be able to share that with us when we come back from the break. Oda says, made in Rwanda products are almost always expensive. I can't afford them. So in return, we'll talk about the cost issue and other challenges affecting the made in Rwanda industry. This is Debate 411. When we return, we'll be reading more of your tweets. Keep them coming at Debate 411 or at Eugene Anangwe. Use the hashtag Debate 411. When we return, we'll be reading them and moving the conversation forward. Stay with us.
So Natasha, are we cornering our teachers? Are we being unfair to them?
At the end of the day, Fiona also mentions that the more you show them this condom, the more you're opening up their minds to having sex.
But do you feel well represented? Do you think the media issues are well taken to the table when it comes to advocacy? How do we convince them and say that we shut it down because you exceeded the limits?
The word conservation looks just complicated, but how do we simplify this?
What role do our schools play then? And the people around our children, what role can they play in order to avoid these children becoming a menace in the society?
Yes. Caroline, you just want to sound moral, but you're just not accepting the reality on the ground.
Well, I want to sound moral and encourage it and practice it.
This is an EA production.
My name is Steven Ruzibiza, CEO of Rwanda Private Sector Federation. I usually watch Debate 411. One of the experiences is so educative, so engaging, and I encourage everyone to appear on it and watch it.
Debate 411 with me, Eugene Anangwe, at this times on Rwanda Television. This is an EA production.
Right, I was just going through some of your tweets while we were at the break. Thank you so much. Keep them coming. Of course, we are talking about the Made in Rwanda conversation and, of course, the key concerns that you have as a consumer. Why do you buy locally made products? Why do you buy Made in Rwanda products, or why don't you buy them? We would love to hear from you. Talk to us, share your thoughts at Debate411, at Eugene Anangwe, hashtag is Debate411. And of course, we have none other than the PS Minicom. Thank you for being with us on the program. We have Maggie Mutesi from Business Digest, Sonia Mugabo, fashion guru. This is the name I've given you, and designer. Of course, the chairman of PSF, Benjamin, right here with us. There's a key issue that has been raised right here, and of course many people have been talking about this particular concern. We even had an online conversation on the same issue about the pricing of locally made products, and most people, especially this one who's tweeted and said, they are usually most of the time expensive. And so someone says, why should I buy your material, or why should I buy your product, Sonia, at that cost, yet I can get another one from another place at a very fairly cheaper price, and the quality is not compromised? Let's talk about the cost issue. Is it the same issue that you also feel at some point, just without being diplomatic? Do you always feel that sometimes local producers exaggerate the prices of some of their products?
I wouldn't put it that way,
yes,
that they exaggerate the prices.
Right.
But they, sometimes, and maybe most of the times, local made products are more expensive than imported products.
Right.
I think there are two main reasons of that. Number one is that the cost of production in Rwanda is still a bit high, and the quantities also are not there. Because when you go for massive production, you make economies of scale.
Yeah.
And maybe the third reason will be the age of our production process, because ours is at the starting stage, so it still has to depreciate. And the other ones, they have been 30 years, 50 years, or even hundreds of years. You are competing with factories which have been there for ages. So those are the factors which makes the cost of production, our cost of production,
become very high.
Becomes very high.
Right.
But there are ways, I mean, to address that.
To deal with that.
Sure.
Sonia, I'll come back to you, but let's hear from Maggie. Do you feel the same before we now look at the solution and how that can be done? Do you always feel the same?
Yes, I do.
Go ahead.
Yes, Sonia. I do feel the same. The prices are usually high.
Have you ever understood the explanation behind it?
Yes, I've spoken to a few producers, some of whom I do believe, because the raw materials, what they use to produce, they usually have to import it. So that's a tax that they incur, that they have to impose on the consumer here when it comes to Rwanda. But then on the other hand, you're looking at a consumer who probably earns about 400,000 a month or less than that. So my other challenge comes in on which target group these consumers, rather these producers, are targeting. If your consumers are earning that amount of money, why do you have to hike your products? Why would I go for that when I can get a Chinese product at that particular amount of money?
So you've called it hiking. Sonia, you've been listening to this. This is something that has been coming to you time and again about the pricing of some of the Made in Rwanda products. Let's hear from you now.
I think Chairman covered a lot of the things. The cost of production is really high. And I think I once gave an example on Twitter. And for me, my clients really like good quality stuff. And for me, I believe you have to pay for quality. So for example, I buy a raw material for, like, I would say the final lace, for example, is 20,000 a meter. A dress is 4 meters. So already that's times 4. That's 80,000 without production cost, without my, I imported I have to put the tax and then my profit. And my client demands lace. So I'm like, I can't give you the finest lace if you're not ready to pay for this. And I break it down for you. Because for me, I'm all about...
So it's willing buyer, willing seller.
Exactly. And for me, like, that's the thing. I have a niche. I have a target audience at the moment. Hopefully in the long term, I'll be able to serve more people in Rwanda, Africa as a whole. But right now, I do have a standard, not a standard, but a, how can I say, a target audience of middle class too.
Right.
Yes.
The chairperson of the body that is supposed to advocate for private sector players says that the cost of production is one of the issues that is making the made in Rwanda producers to put their prices high. For consumer, they will not want to hear, I imported this at this price. They will go for the cost that they can afford in their pocket. So as a policy maker, what are you doing, or what have you been able to do to support local manufacturers or producers to beat that particular challenge?
Let's maybe put this into perspective.
Right.
I think it's a bit unfair to generally say all products are expensive compared to imported products. I think that would be a very unfair statement.
I think it also depends on the industry too.
You see?
Yeah.
So precisely, it depends on the industry. Yeah. If you go to, let me use the examples I used before. If you look at the construction sector, look at the cost of cement in Rwanda and compare it with the cost of imported cement. It's either at par or even slightly below today, as we speak.
But how do we create a level playing field where even the fashion designers can also smile as the cement manufacturers?
Now, let's go to the other sector which I talked about, furniture.
Yeah.
You actually go to buy a table, a dining table, which is made of wood, very durable, which will last ages. Okay, you pay maybe 600,000. That's really upmarket. You look at the same table that is imported from Asia. I won't speak of a particular country.
Yeah.
And it's double the price. Yeah. But in terms of durability, it's not comparable. Yeah. So again, go to the beverages. If you look at some of our juices, they are comparable to Del Monte or to other imported juices. Yeah. So I wouldn't say generally that prices of local products are higher than prices of imported products.
Right.
That said, the cost of production is something different. And again, there we also need to see whether we compete. And there are a number of government policy interventions that have been put in place to make sure that we can bring the cost of production to manageable levels. One of the biggest issues that we always engage with the private sector is the cost of energy. And of course, energy is a major input.
Pause there for a minute. Sonia, do you feel the peer speaking to you?
I think...
Or you feel there's a certain category of made in Rwanda that he's speaking to and leaving out another category? Without being diplomatic, do you feel really that your concern of that makes your pricing, become slightly higher than the others is being addressed?
It's in action.
Yeah.
I know the Ministry of Commerce is trying to find a way for designers to import raw materials like fabric and have tax-free for the raw materials to come.
Yeah.
So all these actions that are being taken, I can't say it's already set because right now I still incur taxes, but we're in discussion.
So at the moment, willing buyer, willing seller.
This is actually what I was going to come to.
Yeah.
I was talking about the cost of energy, which is a major input in production. And of course, what we've done in the past is to make sure that we bring down the cost of energy for industry, which is now at about 16 cents a kilowatt hour. Okay, and it used to be 22, 24 cents a kilowatt hour. So it's now at 128 francs a kilowatt hour. Whereas the other consumers have a higher tariff for industry, we have had to bring a lower tariff to promote local production.
So those who are producing using electricity and they used to have prices at a certain level, we expect them to cut that price.
They should, because we are trying to bring down the cost of production. Now, what Sonia was talking about in terms of the garment industry, we are actually, we'll probably come to that later. We are now, as a government, seriously looking at how to promote local manufacturing of garments to progressively phase out importation of second-hand garments. Now, that calls for a number of things, including fiscal measures. Now, some of the fiscal measures that we're talking about will include, bringing import duty to very competitive levels for imported fabric and also accessories that you don't get in the region or in Rwanda. And that way, if we are able to bring the cost of their raw material, which is the fabric, to manageable levels, then they're also able to
cut down on their cost. And we're going to perfect this. We're going to ensure that this is done, and there's no that excuse of because of my cost of production, my price is supposed to be.
Of course, now there's the other element, the labor and the skills, the cost of this labor and so on and so forth. So there are a number of factors to consider to make sure you manage your costs. But there are also other efficiencies you need in business to be able to compete.
Right.
May I? Because I think PS, I would like to remind the PS, there's another factor which is highly influential, and I'm sure that the Ministry of Trade and Industry is doing something about that, is the cost of finance.
Yes.
The cost of finance, because you will find that the money, the investment that the producers are using, if it comes from the bank, it's mainly, the credit is at trade, it's a trade credit.
Yeah.
It's a credit at 18 minimum, 20% average. Grace period of 1 or 2 years, and we know in most of the production industries, they have other conditions. So I know that's another major concern.
And you've said you know that they're working.
I know they are.
Yes.
And it's
up to what level do you know that they're
because I advocate for this.
Right.
Up to which level? I think it's at the final stage that the government wants to participate into the rating, helping the investors, those who will invest in production, especially for export, so that they can get a fair rate and conditions, which might be around 10%.
He's
but I think PS
is here, he can tell us. So what will be this final rate?
Yes,
interest rate.
To the point of Chairman, one of the issues that industry grapples with is cost of finance.
Right.
But I also need to mention that when you look at the region, and because when you're producing, you're competing with a number of producers in the region.
Yeah.
And Rwanda, when it comes to the cost of finance, is actually in a much better position. If you look at the interest rates that are in Rwanda,
so those complaining should
Uganda,
go check also and see how
actually,
things
if you want to see the cost of finance, say in Uganda or in Kenya or in the neighboring countries, it's actually much higher than the cost of finance in Rwanda.
So he says 10%. Is this the reality?
10% is a new program that he's aware of, not advocating for, but he's aware of. We put in the export growth facility. And the export growth facility is going to be looking at 3 main windows. The first window is an investment catalytic fund that subsidizes the interest rate for manufacturers and other producers, particularly for export producers. And the subsidy can go up to 6-7%. So that is where you get the 10-11%
for only those who are producing for export.
For those producing for export. There is the other second window in the facility which we are working on, and that is really about the export guarantee facility to be able to finance the pre-shipment credit. And finally, of course, we have a matching grant in the export growth facility to be able to support market entry costs and really other pre-export.
So this
costs.
is
now,
to encourage the
made in Rwanda,
to produce
but also
for
to export.
Right.
To export.
Okay. Let's bring in again our
but
audience.
But of course,
yeah.
to the chairman and to the private sector as a whole, and to the Rwandans as a whole, if we want to bring down tremendously the cost of finance, we shouldn't forget the point of savings, because interest rates are a function of many things, including the supply of that money.
So we need to take our money to the bank.
So if you have a higher savings culture and we have more savings in the banks, there is more money in the market, definitely, you know, the cost of that money will come.
I think we should share that blame, because it's not only the banks, because the banks, they serve the money they have. They have also the same condition.
Right.
So we should get more products. And if I may, on when we compare the cost of finance with the region, I think that we are comparing the trade investment, the trade credits, because when we go for manufacturing or other, I'm sure that, and I'm aware that in our neighboring countries they have different products, different financial products, which they use to develop the industry. So they are not using the same rates that we compare with our trade.
So do you agree that our rates are slightly lower, as the PS said, or you feel they're still?
Our normal, I mean, the rates for the trade investment. For trading investment, we are at around, 18%, 20%, while others, maybe they are 20 something. But that's for trade investment. That's not for manufacturing or, they have other sources of support because they have the good saving, they have the
culture,
pension scheme, so they can source themselves. Those producers, they don't source themselves, or either they source them with their own equity or the family equity, or they have other products which comes from the financial environment, which I don't think that we are going to talk about it now. But I want to
clarify that particular part. There's one listener here, Aime Prosper, who says that for consequences, I don't trust any other new Rwandan-made juice brand than two known brands, which I trust their quality, because it actually come earlier on, and he had said that I just remembered that Rwandan-made apple juice I bought, and when I tasted it, it was like drinking water. I returned it. That was cheating. So the quality of the made in Rwanda, some of the made in Rwanda products, they say it's a bit compromised at some level. When it starts in a good way, that after some time, you know, some cheating starts and the quality becomes compromised. You seem to be shaking your head. You
I'm shaking my head because I don't say that the gentleman who sent the Twitter is lying, because that can happen. That might happen. But in general, RSP is doing really a very good job to the standard. You know, in Rwanda we like to put our standards very high, and it's good
to maintain.
It's good for the industry. It's good for us, for the private sector, because it's better to have higher standards rather than average or lower ones. And they are doing a good job on that. But and you will find that normally, the Rwandan products, you were saying that they are expensive. I agree that some of them are expensive, but on the quality as well, most of them, you will find that they are of higher qualities compared to the imported ones.
To the imported ones. This
is a fact. Especially in the agro-processed products, because of RSP. That's one of the reasons, because RSP is very tight, the market is still small, and RSP is doing the job to the Rwandan standard.
So full vote of confidence there for RSP and of course for the producers. That's what you're saying. You believe in that.
But there is one thing. I mean, it's all good to have the full vote of confidence. But there's one thing that maybe we need to emphasize, and that is the issue of consistency.
Yes. I was going to say that.
As much as we promote good quality and high quality, and RSB is doing a good job in actually ensuring that our quality standards are upheld. there is that issue of consistency. A producer today would produce a very good quality and would pass all the tests, okay, and get it on the market. And then 6 months down the road, you see a change in the quality of the product.
It goes down.
It goes down. You know, then it's no longer the same product. Then you have to start all over again.
Policy-wise, what do we do?
Well,
because if we know that's the problem, then what are we doing about it then?
Well, there is a big part that has to do with the producer himself. And the other part, of course, has to do with the training and support that we give to these producers. Because once you've set the standard, once you've gotten the quality that the market is looking for, then that means you already have the formula.
So the training is not working because
I think it's
people
quality,
are still complaining.
it's quality insurance. I think this is, you have to have quality insurance in your production.
May I?
Because Maggie has gone to silent.
Yes, I think there's several factors we have to look at. We should not come and say the policymakers are not doing enough, the PSF is not doing enough. They've played their role, although not the best. But the thing is, we need to come back also to consumer power. Our market today is that, like he said, they are not consistent, but even after some months of producing what is not, they produce good things, and after some time, they lose control, they do whatever they want. They believe.
So the consumer power you're talking for is what?
The consumers are so contented. As much as we blame the producers that they're not doing their job, the producer will still give you what is bad, and then we'll settle for it. We'll definitely settle for it. And then it also comes back to the producers that they feel like if the consumer is settling for this, why shouldn't I need to continue producing the same. So it's like we're just up for whatever we're given.
Before Chairman comes in, let me read one more here from Anna, which says that there is a lack of creativity and innovation among the made in Rwanda producers. Copycats just. This is the argument that we are not original. There's nothing authentic that sets us apart from the Kawangas and the rest is just copycatting. How does it make you feel?
No. I'll talk for the fashion industry. For me, in the fashion industry, there's trends, there's colors. So on a global scale, designers use the same trends or the same colors or the same styles. Just like how pants that are straight now are fashionable. Long time ago they were flared. So these are trends we have to follow. So for me, in that creativity or innovation, I have to disagree.
Maybe they want you to be the trendsetter that someone else can follow out there.
But these are global. These are set on the global standard. So no, you can go ahead.
I think I understand the frustration of the consumers. But me, when I say, I think we are nearly there. Come on, this is the first expo of Rwandan made. I think we should be happy about that. Number two, when you see production, as I said, it's a process, it's a culture. It's some. I mean, it's one thing gives to another, and then another gives to another. And you need to have that whole chain set and rodded. And sometimes when you're starting, let me give you, being a producer myself, let me give you some of the challenges that sometimes you mean. Very quickly, being a landlocked country, you depend on the raw material from abroad, and sometimes your supplier, they cheat on you, maybe you don't know it. She gets the material.
So you do not agree with that argument? That
no, it has one part. I agree with it partly. But the biggest part is that we are at the starting stage of our production industry.
Should relax.
But where we are heading, we are on the right track. We are really on the right track. We can have frustration, we can blame ourselves, but don't blame ourselves too much, and be focused and keep the track.
Thank you so much, Chairman, because we are out of time. We just need to now use that as our parting shot.
And innovation.
One line.
Yeah, not one line.
We're done. We'll be cut out.
Innovation, everything is copy and cut from everything that we do. But the thing is that when we copy and paste, when we copy and paste, what do we do after? Do we advertise? Do we position ourselves to make sure that
so the challenge is we need to move to the next level.
Yes. We need to market and brand our products.
Well, innovation is key, but again, we should be aware that innovation is a continuous improvement process. We're not even talking about invention. So even if you change something small on a product, you can actually get
so you
to
don't
market
agree with
better.
the copy and paste issue.
I need to tell them PSF.
The three things that I would really like to see as a message.
Yeah.
One, let's stick on quality.
Right.
Exactly.
Even if you copy what somebody else is doing, but keep the quality right.
So you agree with...
Number two, we need quantity, because as we go into the Made in Rwanda campaign and trying to promote Made in Rwanda, we need the quantity.
Yeah.
And number three, we need the consistency.
Right.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
To make sure that you don't frustrate your consumer.
Yeah.
I
Quality, quantity,
Can I do
consistency.
one-
Thank you. We are
one-
done. We
Can
will
I- can I
continue.
say something?
Let's
One more
continue
line.
this conversation off air, because the news is coming in will be chopped out.
No. What I wanted to say is,
Yes.
I think really as we need to make the investment in production productive. We need
Right.
to attract more and more investment.
Right.
Can
To
I
get
also
it,
get a
I think-
minute?
it has to be profitable to the investor.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thank
I
you
think
so much.
it's-
Can I
Let
also
this
get a-
conversation
can
go
I
on.
just-
We're out of
As
here.
we're
Thank you so much
encouraging the
for
Made in Rwanda.
watching the show. And of course, we will definitely be back right here on Monday, same time, same place. And of course, on Wednesdays as well. And of course, the conversation has to go on online at Debate 411 or at Eugene Nangwa. Let's keep talking about these great things we wanted to say on this particular program. We'll see you again next time. Goodbye for now.